One question I often get asked is how do we know about these past climates and why is it important that we know them? Well, the big thing about past climates, why it's so important, is that the more we know about what went on in the past, the more we learn about what's going on today and what might happen in the future. Because we can look at how the climate in the past has been warmer or colder and what led up to the warming and what led up to the cooling on this planet, and then take those factors and apply them to what's going on today and figure out if we know this is what caused warming and cooling in the past, then this is what is probably causing it today. So how do we know about those past climates? The first one is ice cores. Ice cores are really cool. They get these out of Antarctica and Greenland, where we have really, really thick ice sheets. They might be thousands of feet or even miles thick. And what happens is that ice is deposited over years, year after year, and it makes these light and dark layers in these ice cores. So they drill these out, and each alternating layer tells them what was going on in that year and this year. It tells them about gas concentrations of not only oxygen, carbon dioxide, but particulate matter. So it might be things like ash or even radioactive material from when we were testing nuclear weapons. All of that shows up in here. So we can compare stuff that we know from very recent time when humans were around in the last 40 or 50 years, and then we can link that to stuff that happened maybe 100 years ago or 10,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago. So these are extremely valuable tools about what was in our atmosphere, what was going on, and all of that stuff is trapped and saved in that ice for scientists to study and learn from. A tremendous amount. For about 500,000 years we can look back. Tree rings are good. The thickness of these tree rings tell us about the growth that year, and a lot of it is linked to the amount of moisture. Trees aren't very old, but we can still start to build past climate data, specifically rainfall amounts from tree rings. Another source is ocean sediments. The shells that are deposited are made out of calcium carbonate, and they get that carbon in that calcium carbonate from CO2 in the atmosphere, carbon in the atmosphere. So the number of shells tells us about the atmospheric conditions, and these can go back tens of millions of years, so we get even more climate data by ocean sediments. And then, of course, there's fossilized pollen. That will tell us exactly what plants were growing at that time, and if it's like palm tree pollen, we know it was hot. So these are all valuable tools, and there's lots of other ones. These are called proxies, and essentially what they let us do is learn about what was in the past before we were there, things that can stand in and we can use to compare to what we want to know about today. I mean, they even use stalactites and stalagmites to figure this stuff out. So there's a lot more than I have listed, but these are just a few to give you an idea.